Hello, hello. Hey, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Axel from Get Speaking English. And I'm here to do a crossword. Doing a crossword this morning. So that's really great. So I'm a little late. I always have stuff going on before these crosswords. So sometimes I have to be a little bit late. But anyways, it's all good. I'm still in the process of getting everything set up, but it's fine. We are going to be doing this crossword today. So that'll be great. Yeah, so what's going to happen is we are going to go through this together. We are, I'm going to let you know what question we're working on when. I'm going to direct the conversation, give out alternative clues, information, maybe pictures, all sorts of fun stuff to help you figure out the answer with me. So you're going to be able to participate. You can participate either on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube. So I'm live right now at all three of those places, so you are welcome to participate there. You can also say hello. Let me know that you're alive if you would like. And I can also read your comments throughout the throughout this live as well. So feel free to say hello or ask different questions and stuff too about some of the things that come up. But yeah, when you think that, if you think that you know an answer, go throw it out. And then as I see the answers, I will put them up on the board and we will complete the crossword that way. All right, so I do have a couple rules though that you should know before we get started. There we go. All right, so my first rule is no cheating. Okay, so I know we could go online, we can Google a lot of these answers and figure it out that way, but I don't think we will have to. I think that for the most part, I can complete these crosswords without resorting to the internet. So I'm just gonna try to guide you guys to the answers. So don't use the internet unless I tell you. So if I tell you, go ahead and do that. But for the most part, we won't have to. Also, please follow the conversation. So don't rush ahead and don't throw out the answer for question number 18 when we're talking about question number 3, okay? So follow the conversation, try to play along nicely. Sometimes I'm going to take some time to talk about alternative vocabulary and phrases, things of that nature that come up while we're discussing a question. So, so give us time to review all of that information. It's just going to be really good. So try to be patient. Don't rush ahead, ruin it for others. Also, please be nice to one another. So the chat is open. Like I said, you can participate on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube. The addresses are at the bottom of the screen, so you can participate at any of those locations. And yeah, please be nice to one another. Please be nice to me as well. Because sometimes I make mistakes. Sometimes I do or say stupid things. We are live here. I also am not using the internet to figure out this crossword, so sometimes I make mistakes as well, so that happens. But let's be nice to everybody. Make a really good, friendly learning environment where everybody feels like they can participate and not be, you know, judged and stuff like that. It's also important for you to know that this crossword specifically is American. So because of that, it's going to use American spelling. Also, sometimes too, there's differences in vocabulary between American and British English. So all of this is going to be American things unless specified otherwise, okay? It's also important to know if there is trivia. A lot of the trivia might be about the United States, so occasionally there are history, geography questions, things like that. I will take care of that. We're not going to worry about the trivia so much. We won't have to anyways, because the majority of these questions, the majority of things on this crossword are about language, so we won't need to know a lot of trivia here. So most things are about language. We won't have to worry about trivia. It's also really important to know that the answers will match the questions. So, for example, if in the question it if the question is a plural noun, for example, if there's a plural in the question, there will also be a plural in the answer. If there is a, you know, adjective or maybe an adverb in the question, there will be an adverb in the answer as well. Abbreviations, for example. So all of that stuff is going to match, and that's an important clue. That's going to help us out a lot. I know it helps me all the time. So all of that's going to match. Also, multiple word answers are okay. So sometimes the answer will be a phrasal verb, or maybe a title of a movie, something like that. Maybe a common phrase, maybe even parts of a sentence. Okay, so multiple word answers are possible. This crossword doesn't indicate when something is a multiple word answer, but hopefully I will be able to identify them. I will let you know so we can figure that out together. And then also finally too, because we are here, we are doing this to review vocabulary, phrases, just learn about the English language. It is important to know that not all of these words in the crossword are ones we use in real life, okay? So there are definitely some words in here that are just really rare. Maybe they're super formal, really old-fashioned, or really outdated. And I would only use them in crosswords. I would not use them in real life. So I will try to let you know if something is useless. Okay, so I will let you know if you shouldn't use something in real life. However, that said, there is a lot of useful language. We are going to review a lot of useful language, a lot of great, this is a great opportunity to review C1, C2 level words, sort of more rare words, words that the average native English speaker would know, but are not necessarily super common. So this is a great opportunity to review that kind of language, which is why I wanted to do crosswords with students. Anyways, all right. So now that we know how this works, let's go back to the crossword. I'm just gonna change my screens here really quickly. Figure out where my crossword even went. Alright, and here we go. Alright, so the first one, the castle writer. We're not doing trivia here. I don't even really know what this is. That's fine. A dojo activity. So a dojo is a place dojo is a place where you do martial arts. So it's a place where you do martial arts. And what exactly is a martial art? They're usually sort of like an Asian, actually maybe I'll look up an actual definition. They're usually sort of type of exercise. An exercise based on traditional Japanese, like an Asian style of fighting, basically. So maybe a traditional Japanese or Chinese, maybe Korean fighting form. They're often practiced for exercise, but also for competitive fighting, things like that. Here we go. Actually, I was learning all about martial arts the other day. I was having a conversation with somebody who practiced a lot of martial arts, and they were telling me all sorts of interesting information about martial arts. But here we go. We can see a traditional Japanese, Chinese, or Korean form of fighting or defending yourself, practiced as a sport or exercise. So martial arts include karate, judo, kung fu, and aikido. So, all right, so that is a martial arts here. So we're looking for basically the name of a martial art here. So, so we might go, maybe we should go back to this one. Maybe we get more information, or maybe not, actually. All right, well, yeah, let's keep this one in mind, maybe. If you think you know what this is, this martial arts, let me know. I mean, we do have a couple ones here, like Aikido, for example, Kung Fu. There's also like Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, for example. There's a bunch of different ones. Yeah, so if you think you know what this one might be, that's great. I'm gonna like go down maybe and maybe get us a little bit more information. But if you think you have a guess about this, let me know. I'm gonna jump down here to this sandal site so we can get a little bit more information. A sandal site. So a sandal is a type of footwear. We wear when it's really hot, maybe? Maybe at the beach, for example. So it's a type of footwear, something that you might wear at the beach. They are, we would say that sandals are usually, we would call them open-toed, an open-toed shoe, because you can see the toes, they are not covered. And actually, that's kind of an important clue for the answer. That bit of information is going to help us arrive at this answer. We can see here is a sandal. These are a strappy set of sandals. We can see that these are they have a flat sole, so there is no heel. The heel would be back here. We can see that these are flat. There's very strappy. And there is a body part. As I mentioned, because they are open-toed, there is a body part that they typically showcase, maybe not showcase, but that you can see anytime that you are wearing sandals. So a three-letter word, basically, for a part of the body you can see while wearing sandals. So if you think you know what that might be, put it in the chat. Again, I am live on Facebook, I'm live on Twitch, I'm live on YouTube. You can play at either of those places. If you think you know what that is, let me know. And maybe we can see all sorts of different parts of this particular foot, right? We can see the ankle. So the ankle is this portion up here. I hope you can see my cursor, right? Oh, maybe you can't see my cursor. Oh, there you go. So we can see the ankle here, for example. We have the heel back here, right? So we have the heel. We have the maybe the top of the foot here, right? The ball of the foot is sort of like this toe area. And then we do have the toes, right? So I have a funny feeling that the part that the sandal site here is going to be a toe. So, because the toes are not covered. So we're gonna put in a toe here. Toe is going to be our sandal site. So we have a toe here. And a word that means completely. So basically looking for a synonym for completely. So 3 letters, right? We're looking for a 3-letter word. A synonym for completely. What does it mean if something is complete? It means that each and every component is there, right? We're not missing any parts, right? We have the entire thing, right? Or the whole thing, right? These are also synonyms for completely, right? Like totally. And a little 3-letter word that might mean if we have everything, each and every part of something. I keep almost saying the answer while describing it. Such a basic, very common word. I think this one is going to be all. So all is a synonym for completely. All right. So there we go. And let's see what else we have here. 3 and auto, model by. Okay. Let's see here. What else do we do? Alright. I think what we're going to do. Yeah, maybe we could do this one. Here. Cuts off. So we can see here, so like I said, the question gives us an idea of what type of word is in the answer. So we can see here we have a verb conjugated to the third person singular. So this is also going to be conjugated in the same way. So if you cut something off, we could use this kind of in a couple different ways, right? So, you know, for example, if I cut off my hair, means that you like detach the hair, right? You would make it shorter, right? So to cut off something could mean like to remove part of something from something else, right? For example, you know, I cut off my hair and now it is shorter, right? That could be one use for cutting something off. But we might also use the word, maybe if you like cut something off to sort of finish something, maybe prematurely or before planned. So maybe before the intended time. So I think this is kind of like maybe a bit of a hint. Yeah, if you sort of like maybe stop something almost. Yeah, if you could, for example, you might, yeah, maybe like finish something prematurely, or maybe something is happening and then you finish that activity. Right? For example, you might cut off aid, for example. So for example, let's see here. Here's an example. You know, the US has announced to cut off, or a cutoff. Okay, sorry, that's a noun, but yeah, to cut off, here, announced to cut off military aid to the country. So there we can see, right? So it's stopping. We're gonna stop it, right? So we're basically looking for a synonym for that, right? Stopping something. So I think this one might be ends. Ends. So let's put ends in here. So to cut off something, I think this is gonna be ends. Another way that we might use this too, we might use it to say you cut someone off, which might mean you interrupt them while they are speaking. And if you are driving, for example, down the highway, and someone cuts you off, it means that they, like maybe you are driving in one lane and then they pull into your lane without giving you a lot of notice. So it means that so if you're driving and someone cuts you off, it means that they pull into your lane in front of you without giving you a lot of notice. So maybe you have to slow down or you need to brake really abruptly. So yeah, somebody cuts you off, they get into your lane kind of without giving you enough notice. So yeah, so a couple of great meanings here about like different uses for the word cut off, right? Yeah, so rude people might be cutting you off while talking. We can use it to end something and also to remove something from something else. All right. And now that we have more information here, so we can see that this one here, our dojo activity, our martial arts, ends in an A-T-E. So I think that gives us a lot of information now that we could use to figure out what this type of martial arts is going to be. There's a couple that are written here, right? Martial arts include karate, judo, kung fu, aikido. I don't know. Aikido, I don't know if I'm saying that right. But I think karate fits here. So let's put karate in here. And now, okay, and now we got that. All right, cool. So we got some karate. So this is a pop culture thing. I don't know. I might pop this in here in like in a minute. But let's talk about this one. To be of use. Something to be of use. So if something is useful, something is of use, to be of use, it means it was helpful, right? Like it was a good thing. And so this word, this is not necessarily a super common word in this way. But there is a very common phrase that we use that has this word in here. So you might know this phrase. I think I'm just gonna give it to you. Wait just a second here. Yeah, usually this gets used in a negative here, for example. So if we're talking if something was useful, if it was helpful, right? We might say that something is of no avail, or here, for example, we can see we tried to persuade her not to resign, but to no avail. So if something is to no avail, so if something is to no avail, or actually I say of no avail, it means that it didn't work. It didn't work. Yeah, so this is definitely kind of a common, this is a very common expression. Like I said, usually we use it in a negative. Or at least I most commonly hear it as a negative. So I think this one is going to be avail. So I'm just going to like put that in there. Here's another example too with this great phrase. This is a great phrase, like a little phrase to know. Here's another one. So my attempts to improve the situation were of little avail. So there we go. There's a one collocation. So it didn't work very well. It didn't do a lot, or of no avail, we could say. So, you know, they didn't work at all, or they didn't work much. So that's kind of a very great phrase to know. So let me know. So, because I know I have a couple watchers right now, but nobody's really participating. But if let me know. Did you try something recently that ended up being of no avail? I know that happens from time to time, right? So you have this really great idea, and it just doesn't work out, right? And everything you try ends up being of no avail. So let me know if that has happened to you recently. Let me know in the comments. Okay, and I think we're gonna move on. So I'm just gonna put this in here. This Arthurian island. It's like a. Anyways, I'm just gonna like put it in here. Apple one. It's like a fantasy. Like not gonna. I'm tired, so I'm not gonna explain. But let's do this maybe. This model by. So a model, I know that, so a model kind of has a couple different meanings, right? A model is usually kind of like the ideal form of something almost, right? And you know, models, like people who work as models, they would kind of have an ideal sort of idealized body shape that is really good for modeling clothes on, right? So for example, a clothing model, right, would have an ideal body shape for modeling, displaying clothes on, right? But there's kind of another use of model that we might use. Which is used for kids. Just a second here. So kids, I mean adults too, they might be into building models. Okay? So for example here, this little toy car, right? So this is a model car, right? So it's basically like a little toy car, right? You would basically buy it in a kit, right? You would paint all the little parts and you would put it together. I'm trying to find a picture here of maybe one that is. Here we go. Here we can see this is an example of a model car before all the parts have been painted and put together and things like that. So this is also a type of a model. So we're basically looking for something that you would buy to build one of these things. So there is a specific word that we would use for this kind of thing. So a model car, like when it comes in the box and everything like that, all the little parts. Yeah, we're looking for that word. So basically, yeah, this word here, it's basically, yeah, like a set of parts sold that are ready to be put together. So for a car in this case, or, you know, there's also model trains and model airplanes. I know that there's a bunch. I'm most familiar with the model car. The model cars. I almost said the word. Anyways, if you think you know what this word is, let me know. I will give you a hint. It starts with a K. Oh, and we can see that there is an I here as well. So there is an I here as well. So if you think you know what we might call this, when it's all in like the little box and everything like that. Here are a couple more. Here are some examples in the boxes here, ready to be put together. So if you think you might know, I'm gonna share it in a second. So KI. This is a model car kit. So we can see here, these are all model kits of cars. So I'm gonna put that in there. We got a kit. That's gonna be our model buy. And let me know, did you ever, is this a popular activity in your country? Do you, like, maybe when you were a kid, or maybe you had like a brother, or maybe you had, you knew people who made model car kits? Let me know. Is this something that is it a popular pastime where you're from, or maybe it was when you were a child? Let me know about model car kits. In that, I would say that it is fairly popular here. When I was a kid, my brother would make model car kits. I think I also had one at one point. And yeah, I have people in my family that would make model cars and stuff like that. So I used to like to paint them. I've always been fairly artistic and stuff, so I love painting things and putting things together and stuff like that. Anyways, yeah, so but let me know when your experiences with this. Alright, so let's do this one. So choir singers. So we can see that there is an S here, so this is a plural. This is also going to be a plural. And what is a choir? Well, obviously we can see that it has to do with singing, right? So a choir is typically a group of singers. Typically people who would sing together in a church, right? Typically. I'm not sure if there are choirs. I'm not 100% sure if there are choirs outside of a church. Actually, I know that there are like children choirs and things like that. But anyways, a choir. Here is a choir. They're all singing, right? So we have all of these people, they are singing the songs together, right? And then you have people that have different vocal ranges, right? Like, what is a vocal range? The range refers to which notes they are able to sing. So some people have very deep voices, right? So their range is going to be very low, for example. So, there are basses. Those people have a very low range. I think that those are maybe the lowest, or maybe baritone. Baritones might be even lower. So basses, baritones, also tenors. These all have very low ranges. And also instruments too are categorized this way. Like, for example, there's baritone saxophone and there's like a soprano saxophone. So soprano, that's the other side. Soprano, this is a high vocal range. So we're looking for this here. We're looking for another vocal range. One that's also very high. So A-L something something S. Hi, Ray. Yeah, kit was the answer. Definitely a model kit. So thanks so much for chiming in. I think I might, I don't know. I know there's always a delay, so I didn't see your answer until now. But I'll give a minute. If you think you know what this one might be, we're looking for the name of a vocal range that refers to very, like, something that's very high. Yeah. This also, a little bit of a hint. So there is sort of a prefix in this word that also gets used commonly in other words that mean high. So that's kind of another word too. So the prefix, or like the first part of this word, is also used in other words that mean high, like very tall or very high. So that might help, maybe. So if you have a guess what this word is, what this vocal range might be, let me know. I'm gonna put it in there for a second. Actually, I wonder like what other, let's start with, I'm gonna see what other words start with this prefix, because I'm really curious. I think there's a couple. I don't think that there's not tons of them that are super popular. Anyways, all right. So I think this is going to be an alto. So an alto, anything alto refers to high. Alto. So altos are choir singers that have very high range, of high vocal range. And we see this prefix as well in the word altitude. I don't know why I wrote it that way. Altitude. So to refer to how high something is, right? The altitude of something refers to how high something is. Right? So we might talk about, you know, when we're talking about the altitude in relation to sea level, right? So I live right next to the sea. I live at a low altitude, very low altitude. But if you live in mountains, if you live in a mountain, you would live at a very high altitude. All right, and we say that you live, yeah, at a high altitude. That is going to be the preposition that goes with that. So, yeah. So let me know, do you live at a high altitude? Or, yeah, let me know. Let me know if you live at a high altitude, or not. And yeah. Alright, we're gonna move on. What else we got here? So that's the thing. That is trivia. This is also kind of trivia. I wonder if we could do this one. Actually, I don't. So if you think you know what this is, I know what this is, but I'm not gonna put it in here. But if you think you know what this is a famous writer, name of a famous writer. So if you happen to know what this is, put it in here. I'm gonna leave it for now though. But if you know, let me know. I'm gonna leave it and I'm gonna like look at something a little bit different, so we can get more information to fill this one in. But if you happen to know this one, let me know. Okay, which is the castle writer. You can see there's a K-A something K-A. Okay. I'm gonna go down here. So a pot brew. So a brew is typically, like, what do you brew? You brew beer, for example. It's like basically, you've kind of like put things together and you kind of let them soak, maybe ferment a little bit for a while. And we're looking at something that you make in a pot. So yeah, my city, the altitude can get up to 4,800 meters above sea level, I guess. Yeah, meters above sea levels. Nice. Fantastic. Yeah, that's very high. That's extremely high. Or at least, maybe not extremely high. For me, it seems high. I don't know. I don't live in a place where there are mountains, so that seems high. But yeah, okay. So this pot, this brew, I'm gonna get a little... Yeah, to brew something basically means, you basically, you know, add boiling water to something to basically make a hot drink, right? And it lets the flavors sort of get enhanced and things like that. So we're looking for something that you would basically brew for a while in a specific pot. I'm gonna share this picture, but if you think you know what it is, so something, three-letter word. We have a three-letter word here. Something that is brewed in a pot. So something that basically we add hot water to it, we let it soak, the flavors develop, they get really nice. So something that is brewed in a pot. I'm gonna share the pot. What are these guys? Hopefully that helps. Something that you would make in this style of pot. So here's a three-letter word. Something made in this style of pot. So let me know if you have any ideas. Super common. Pretty common drink, right? Not coffee, right? Here's sort of another, maybe a little example. You can actually see like some of the things that you put in, and you can see here that it is brewing here. Exactly, this is tea. So we're gonna make tea in this pot. So we typically say that you brew a pot of tea. So we would brew a pot of tea. We might also say that you steep a pot of tea. Sorry, steep a pot of tea. So steeping refers to how long you let it soak for. But you would brew tea. You also brew beer. That is another thing that we brew. So, yeah. So that is kind of a great little thing. There's another sort of idiom. Let me see if I can get it. Yeah, there's sort of like an idiom that we would use too, that we would use this. For example, we might say that it was too quiet. I felt that trouble was brewing. So we could know that maybe trouble was happening, sort of. So, you know, if you have a feeling that there is sort of this unpleasant situation, we might say that a storm is brewing as well too. So that's another sort of common collocation that we would use with this word. But yeah, we would feel that, you know, maybe troubles are brewing or something bad is brewing. Anyways, yeah, so that's kind of an interesting word. Okay, and let me know, so are you a tea drinker? Not everybody loves tea, but let me know if you are a tea drinker. Let me know in the chat, and let me see, what else do we have here? We are looking for a vast expanse. So something vast is very wide, right? Something vast is very, very wide, right? And an expanse is usually like this very open area. An expanse is a very open area. So, for example, a plain is an example of a vast expanse. I'm going to get a picture here in a second. Take another, yeah, you could say exactly, somebody is not your cup of tea. That is a very common idiom as well. Definitely. Common idiom. Yeah, if something is not your cup of tea, you don't really like it. It's not for you. So here's an example of a plain, a vast expanse. Exactly. This one is a sea. Another example of a vast expanse. So wide area without many things, sort of around, right? It's very open. So sea here is going to be our vast expanse. All right, awesome, great job. And let's see what else here. I don't know if we're gonna know what this one is. Let's do this one, maybe. Basking goal. What does it mean to bask? So to bask. To bask means to lay in the sun, basically. All right, so, yeah. So maybe you lay by a sunny window, for example. I'm trying to get a picture of things that are basking. I mean, birds will kind of lie in the sun, sort of get warm. I mean, like, look at all these, wonder if these... Trying to look for a good picture. I think here, all of these birds are kind of hanging out in the sun. Okay? So these animals are basking in the sun. They are laying in the sun. They are getting nice and warm, toasty from the sun. So humans also will bask in the sun, right? Right? So they will go to the beach, for example, right? Or a sunny place. They will go to the beach, maybe. And you will lie in the sun, right? So humans will also bask in the sun. They will lie in the sun to get this word. Something, 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 something. So humans will lie in the sun to get whatever this word is. So, you know, their skin, the skin gets a little bit darker, right? You know, ideally the skin gets a little bit darker. You could take it too far, the skin will burn and it gets really uncomfortable. Also, you will get some vitamin C, definitely. Vitamin C, vitamin D, also really important. I think that also comes from sun. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, but yeah, there's a specific goal though that people want to achieve typically when they're lying in the sun. So I'm gonna get a picture. I think you know what it is. Let me know. Basically looking for when the skin gets darker. You can also, people will also go to 2 beds. Yeah, so they'll get a tan, and then tan is kind of, so tan is part of this word. So tan is part of this word, exactly. And then tan is kind of short for a bit of a longer word. So you might have to, maybe you might have to guess about this one. But the clue is kind of like in, you know, where the tan comes from. So the first part of this word indicates, you know, where the tan comes from, if that makes sense. Yeah. So we got half of it. We're definitely gotta get a tan when we're basking. This is actually 2 words. This is 2 words. This is gonna be, oh no, it is 1 word. I was right. Ugh, it's the internet that's wrong. So suntan. Tan is short for suntan. So we're gonna get a suntan. So suntan is going to be the full word here. So suntan or tan or short. But yeah, you would typically bask. You would lie in the sun. And get a suntan, exactly. And yeah, you would bask in something. So you would bask in the sun or something like that. You could also bask in your glory or bask in your accomplishments if you feel like you've done a really good job. Sort of enjoy it, celebrate it. Some other ways that we might bask in things. Basically anything that makes you kind of feel really proud, like you get a lot of pleasure for something. Here, for example, so he basked in his moment of glory, holding the trophy up to the crowd, so he was so proud. Got a lot of pressure or pleasure from it. So yeah, so that's kind of a great alternative use to this phrase, but literally it means to like lie in the sun, basically. All right. So I don't know if we're gonna know what this is, but that's fine. A stage signal. I know this one. Let's do this one, I guess. So a stage signal. I don't know if we're gonna know this word, but let's do it anyways. So a stage signal. So this is a reference to theater. So you do theater, you do a play on a stage, right? A place where you know, do a play or, you know, a theater, right? You would do some sort of a performance, right? Or theater performance. All right, so this is a theater thing. Okay. And it's a signal. So we're looking for a theater signal. We can see that there is an E in this word. So this signal, basically, this is a signal that reminds you to do something. Maybe reminds you when to do a line, for example. Or maybe to begin to do something. And then we might also use this to, like, also to refer to a reminder, just, you know, in day-to-day life, right? But it originally has sources from theater. So yeah, so this one may be a tricky one. But if you think you know what this one is, let me know. So basically, So here's the official definition. So yeah, so a word or action in a play or a film that is used as a signal by a performer to begin saying or doing something. So it's not gonna be a fut. I'll give us a little bit of help. So it's gonna start with a C. It's gotta start with a C. This could be a new word for us, but that's great though. I'll try to give us a couple examples of how we would actually use this word in day-to-day life. So there's a C in it. It's almost like a hint or something. A reminder to do something. So cut. This is gonna be Q. Q is a signal that basically reminds you to do something. So Q here. So so in day-to-day life, here's kind of an example of how we would use this word. So, you know, they started washing up. So, for example, maybe there was a dinner party, right? There's a dinner party. You have a bunch of people over. You're a guest in somebody else's house. They start to clean up the plates. They start to do the washing up. So that was our cue to leave the party. That was the hint, basically the little action that reminded us that we are going to leave the party. Yeah, so they started, that was our cue to leave, all right? Another common way that we say, we would use this if something happens, like, right when it was supposed to happen. I don't know if that makes sense, but we would say something happens on cue. It happens on cue. So I was just wondering where Stara was when, right on cue, she came in. So right at that moment, she came in. So if something happens on cue, it happens exactly when you thought it was going to happen, or at the perfect timing, basically. Oops, right when you thought it happened, or the timing was perfect. So, you know, so he called me right on cue. It was perfect timing. So that's kind of how we would use this in day-to-day, like, legitimate life. So, and then it's also, like we said, like, used in movies, used in theater and things like that. But yeah, kind of a great little, interesting little word here. All right, what else could we do here? We have... let's do this one. This chop hose order. So a chop hose. What is a chop hose? A chop hose is kind of a restaurant. Actually, I have to be honest with you. I don't come across this word really often. But this is referring to a restaurant. So a chop host. This is not really a common word. But basically, it's a restaurant where you would get meat, where you would eat meat. Okay, where you would eat meat. So different types of meat. Okay? So this word is a type of meat. This word, or I should say this word, it's a cut of meat. It is a cut of meat you would get at a fancy, maybe not necessarily a fancy restaurant, but at a restaurant. So a cut of meat you would get at a restaurant. One that's usually specifically geared at serving meat. So beef, typically, I think, what they would do. So a very classic sort of type of meat that you might get at a restaurant. I'm trying to get a picture of some different options. Okay, here I found like a restaurant menu, basically. But like here, for example, we can see on this menu, this place serves a heck of a lot of meat, right? So we can see that there are some T-bones, right? We have some sirloin. We have sirloin tips. We have a ribeye, right? We have some shrimp and stuff like that, right? But these in particular are kind of a specific type of cut. And that is our answer here. Whatever these are. So if you think you know... Oops. I'm gonna throw some of it in there. But yeah, basically these cuts of meat. Whatever this is. And they're usually beef. Yeah. So a type of a beef. So we have what? Sirloin, ribeye, T-bone. I know there's other ones too. There's like a tomahawk. I don't know how to spell it. Tomahawk. The filet mignon one, I think. I don't really eat meat, so a filet mignon. Tenderloin, also another example. And all of these are kind of whatever this is. These are like different types of this. Tenderloin. All of these are types of steak. They're all different types of steak, right? So different types of steak, right? And usually, like I said, the word chop house is weird. Usually we would say, we would go to a steakhouse to get steak, right? So that is typically the restaurant that you would go to eat a lot of meat. But I guess chop house is an alternative word for restaurant, for that kind of restaurant. This is a heck of a lot more common. I definitely recommend using the word steakhouse, not chop house. But anyways, that is our answer. So for steak. Yeah, so let me know. Are you a big meat eater? Do you like steak? Or maybe you prefer something else. So let me know. I am not a steak eater, so I don't eat any of these things. I'll eat shrimp maybe from time to time, but I'm mostly vegetarian, so that's why I'm like, I don't know what the different types of steak are. But anyway. All right, what else? So, refinement. See what else we can do here. Let's do this one. Despise. To despise something. So if you despise something. So if you despise something, you dislike it really strongly, right? So if you despise something. Despise something, you dislike it to like an extreme level. You extremely dislike it. Exactly, this one is going to be hate. So hate, I'm pretty sure that's what this is going to be. So let's put hate in here. Hate. Alright, so we got some hate. That going on. And then let's do this one really quickly. So a really common sign that is on a door. So a common sign. So something N, something E, something. So a common sign on a door. Not just any door, but I'm gonna say a common sign on a door of a shop. Right? So so customers know when they can come in, do their shopping, and essentially when it's open, right? So common sign on the door of a shop that lets customers know it's open. And exactly, this is going to be enter. So there's going to be an enter sign, right? Telling them that they can come in. Or also, or where they can come in, right? So, you know, which one is the customer entrance versus maybe there's another door that's for employees only, right? So, perfect. All right, what else could we do here? I know what this one is, but I don't know if we are all going to know what this one is. So I think we might be able to get this one a little bit more easily. Yeah, this one here. This refinement. Also too, I'm just gonna go back up here really quickly. Because I know this is trivia. I don't really do trivia. But if you happen to know the name up here of this writer, even if you think you might have an educated guess, let me know. K-A something K-A, and I will put it in here. So if you happen to know what that one is, let me know. We're gonna do this one, this refinement. Refinement. What does it mean? If something, so if something is refined, so refinement. So refinement, we can see the word refine in here, right? If you make something refine, or even just the word fine, right? Something fine, it's almost like soup, it's almost really perfect, or kind of like idealized almost, right? So if something is really refined, maybe it's kind of almost perfect, really high quality, right? Yeah, exactly. This is Kafka. Okay, cool. I'll put that in there. So yeah, so something is refined, is very maybe high quality, very excellent, right? Maybe very like almost perfect or ideal. So we're looking for, so this one here, we're looking for a word. Basically, a word that that is like something that someone would have if they liked really high quality, really excellent, really great things. Okay, so this word, T-A, something, T-E, this is something that people would have if they love really high quality, you know, excellent, really great things. So for example, maybe they love really great high quality clothing, for example, right? They have a really good sense of style, for example. Or maybe they have a really great love of food, for example, right? And so they have really good, like a really good sense of things that go really well with each other, and you know, the textures, all of that, that's really all of that stuff that goes really well together. Or maybe they just have, like, also they like really high quality objects, like material objects and things like that. Yeah. Yeah, this is taste. Exactly. Yeah. So they would have really great taste, right? So taste is going to be our sort of our sense of refinement. So, yeah, so taste. Exactly. We say that you have good taste, maybe. So to have good taste means you, I don't know what high quality or what's excellent, stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. So that's gonna be our refinement. And I don't know if we are gonna know what this word is. That there is no accounting for taste. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of, taste can be kind of hard to, I feel like it might be a hard skill to learn, right? You kind of just need to have it. This one here, so the social group. I don't know if we're gonna know this word. The S-T-E. But this is kind of a word, like it says, for social groups. But it kind of refers to like different levels of social groups. So this word refers to the different levels, kind of like almost classes, like economic classes and things within a society. So this word refers to the different levels or classes in a society. So like usually like maybe in terms of economic or yeah, economics or status maybe. And I just want to make a really, really, really... Yeah, you could also just guess a vowel. Definitely. This in particular, this system is used in India. Like, so it's like a Hindu system. So I don't know if that helps or not. It's a Hindu system. So a system of dividing Hindu society into different classes. So you can either guess a vowel, obviously it's going to be a vowel, or if you know what this is, give it a let me know. Basically when they're kind of like separated to different level. Yeah, this is a caste. So they have a caste system. That's what they say. To basically divide people into different categories. And I believe this is kind of a bit outdated these days, but yeah. So that's what that is going to be. So let's see if we can get this one. We have a lot of information here. This is a really long answer. This is a multiple word answer. So let's see. So didn't meet some expectation. So what is an expectation? An expectation is basically what you think or you expect to happen, right? You think will happen. So what you think will happen, what you expect to happen. So if something didn't meet your expectation, so we say that things meet an expectation, that's sort of like that common qualification. Or to meet expectations. So if something doesn't meet expectation, we have F-A, something, L-E-D, new word, T, something, E, new word, something, E, S, T. Let's see if we can figure out what this might be. We could probably make a bunch of educated guesses as well, and that is fine. I make educated guesses doing the crossword all the time. It is necessary. So let's focus on the first word, maybe. So obviously we have a verb. We have a verb here, past tense, right? So we know that this is also a past form of this verb, right? So if something doesn't meet an expectation, it didn't work out, what do we think this word, what do we think this verb is going to be? Something, something, something. So basically, yeah. So this one, so basically a word we'd use if something doesn't work, basically. We have this one here. This is an article. And then we have some sort of word. This is basically like, basically kind of like a trial period or something, some sort of a trial. I don't know if that's enough information. Let's see if we can do it. I have an idea what this might be. I'm gonna do the article. Yeah, so that first part is failed. Exactly. So we have failed. Failed. The. And what might we fail? Whatever this last word might be. Failed. The. We basically did some sort of trial and it didn't work out. Failed the test, exactly. So we're gonna fail the test. Yeah, so if something didn't meet expectations, it failed the test. We tried it, didn't work out. Yeah, okay, yeah, you thought it was just one word. Yeah, so in this crossword, sometimes they are multiple word answers. It doesn't tell us when it's a multiple word answer, but I try desperately to point out when they are multiple word answers, because I know, like, it just looks like this is one epic long word, but not the case. But that's fine. It's all good. What else do we got here? So this is a trivia thing. We don't do trivia here. This is also trivia. This is a Harry Potter reference. I don't know if we're gonna know what this type of rock is. This rock formed from clay. It's a gray rock. S-H-A something something. We might not know what this rock is. I'm gonna get a picture though. It's basically kind of like this. Like this. I don't know how common this is everywhere around the world. I know we have a lot of this here actually. Whatever this is. Yeah, this was a tricky one. So, and I feel like it's not even a common, I mean, I guess it's common rock. Let's see what else we can do here. We have some names and stuff like here. Yeah, it's just not shake. There is an E though. I'm gonna put an E here. We got some of it. Yeah, this is kind of a lesser. I don't know how common this is everywhere. Yeah, this is shale. This is shale rock made out of clay. All right. Is shale common where you are? Like, I have no idea like how common this is around the world. But yeah. We have a lot of it here. But I don't know like if it's everywhere or anyways. Let's see. Today, a friend of Harry and her. Let's see here. We might know this word, possibly. And it's very, very, very long time. So it's kind of like as a word that refers to like a span of time. Something something. A word that refers to a span of time. So right, so for example, you know, like a second, that's a very short span of time, right? And then, you know, there's a year, that's kind of long, right? Kind of long, right? And then we have like decades, right? But there is one for like an extremely long period of time. Like, we're talking about, like, millennias, I think. Like, it's so long, it can't even be measured. This word, yeah. So, like, a period of time that it's so long, it can't even be measured. So, not just, like, millennias, but, like, millions of years. It's kind of like it's like the longest measurement of time we have. Like, it's so big. So this could be a new word. Although there was this was in the crossword the other day and somebody knew it. So but yeah. An extremely long period of time. You think you know? I think this was going to be a new one. So this word is an eon. Eon. So something that happens, if something takes eons. So, because in English we love to exaggerate, right? We love to exaggerate how long things take, or how much we love things, or how much we like things, right? So if we say that something took eons, a 34 is a no-brainer. Oh, do you know what 34 is? Okay, yeah, if you know what 34 is, go for it, because it's trivia. And I was gonna ask, I mean, I know what it is, but yeah. You know what 34 is? Let me know. So an eon, yeah, so if we say that, you know, like, you know, my project took eons, that just means that it took an extremely long amount of time. An extremely... So it took an extremely long amount of time to do, for example. So, yeah, this is Ron. Yeah, exactly. Ron. And this is actually, Roker. I'll put that in here, too. We could probably make an educated guess as to what this name is. So, if you have any ideas what this one might be, let me know. And then also basically the word for no in Russian. So we have Anthony, exactly. So we have Anthony here, and then we want to hit the Russian word for no. Let's see if I know what that one is. Let's see here. I'm gonna do this one. Dun, 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 dun. I'm gonna do the circus worker. Here we can see here that this one starts with an NY something. So we might know this one. If not, it'll we'll figure it out. But circus worker. So circus. It's kind of a entertainment thing, right? Where they have usually animals and acrobats and magicians and clowns, right? Yeah, so we're looking for a type of person who works in a circus. So a clown is a really, really, really good guess. Definitely a person who works in a circus. That is not our answer, but that's a good one though. Yeah, so there's jugglers, right? You'll have like the mimes, right? Also, you know, usually there are like comics and comedians and stuff like that. This person, the answer to this person works with the animals. All right, so I know these days it's kind of, I think using animals as part of circus acts is becoming more uncommon, right? So, because a lot of people are concerned about animal rights, right? But back in the day, specifically, definitely, there was this type of person that would work with the animals to basically teach them their tricks, right? Yeah, so this is going to be the tamer, exactly, the animal tamer is going to be our circus worker. So let's put that in here. Perfect. Let's see, what else here? Let's do this winter gliders thing here. So what does it mean to glide? It means to kind of go over a surface that's extremely smooth, so you kind of just move really easily. There's not a lot of resistance, right? So, and we can see that there's an S here. So we're looking for basically a winter glider. So something that glides across the snow, because we're talking about winter, right? So something that glides across the snow very easily, and kids will use this. They will use this. They will, you know, get these things, and then they will sit on them, and then they will go down the hill. They will go down snowy hills. So I'm trying to get a picture. What the heck I am talking about. Here we go. You can see this kid. We got this kid here. So he's gliding down the snow. So we're basically looking for the name of whatever this thing is. So this S something. This plural, obviously. This is a plural. Yeah. Whatever the heck that thing is. and just, yeah, this is a plural, yeah. Yeah, so another thing to know about this crossword is that usually the answers will match the question. So if there is a plural, for example, in the question, so here, like winter gliders, we know that there's going to be a plural in the answer. And just in case my definition of glide was not good, it means to move easily without stopping or without a lot of effort. So yeah, so this is a sled. So sleds is going to be our answer. We're going to use sleds to go sledding. That would be, we could use it as a verb as well, to go sledding. Another thing that people might use, or that we might call it as well too, is you might call it a sleigh as well. Although the sleigh typically has these little rudders. Rudders is the thing on the bottom here. Anyways, yes. They will use it to coast down the hills. Okay. What else can we do here? Online party notice. I don't know if we're gonna know this. Or if I'm gonna be able to explain it. There's this specific, so, you know, there's a lot of electronic notifications and things like that, right? You get like little text messages and things like that, and then there's tweets and SMSs and PMs, like private messages and tweets and blah, blah, blah. There's one specific something, and we may or may not know what this is, but this one is used for kind of organizing parties or events. So this is an online notification used for organizing parties or events. And it's kind of a play on the word invite, right? Because you would invite somebody to a party, right? All right, so you would typically invite somebody to a party. You would ask them to come to your party, right? So this is basically like a digital party invite. So that may or may not help. I don't know. I feel like this is the most common word. But maybe even a, maybe even an educated guess. I definitely come back to it too. I don't know what the other ones are. Sunday. Planning time. You could maybe come back to it, maybe. I'll give you a hint. It starts with an E. It starts with an E, because everything online is kind of like E, electronic, right? E for electronic. It's kind of like a combination of like electronic invite, basically. If that makes sense. Kind of like how email is like, electronic mail, right? An email, right? So, but this is more specifically for an invite. So this is probably going to be a new word. I originally thought this was email, actually, when I was doing this, because I did this really quickly while I was getting ready. It's not email. But you're thinking about along the right lines, though. It's kind of a was it portmanteau? Portmanteaus are like when two words are combined into like one word. I feel like I just butchered the pronunciation of that word, but that is what it is, a portmanteau. I'm gonna double check the pronunciation. Oh, I was right. So portmanteau, it's basically when two words are combined, basically, to make a new word. Anyways, so this is an evite. It's gonna be an evite. It's gonna be an evite. Yeah, so it's gonna be an evite. It's kind of like a combination of the word electronic and invite, right? So an evite. It's gonna be our online party notice. I don't know if these are really popular. I feel like I remember when they tried to make this a thing. And I wasn't really into it. I hated signing up for things or registering for things via an evite. But anyways, that is our electronic invite. Yeah. Alright, so let's see. What else do we have here? Election day sticker words. All right, this is going to be a two-word answer. So this one here, something T-E-D. I'll tell you, in my country, they don't give out stickers when we go to the polls on election day. So election day, you go to the polls, right? An election is when they vote new people into parliament or into power, right? So political power, right? So they vote new people into power, right? And you go to the polls, right? And you do an activity at the polls to select your candidate. Okay? So you go to the polls, you do this activity, you basically say who you want in power, who you choose, who you would like to elect. And then I guess in the United States, because this is a United States crossword, they get a sticker. A sticker is just like kind of sticky. I was trying to look for a picture of a sticker. So a sticker is something that you might stick fast to something. So here is a sticker, for example. Here we go. We see this little sticker here. Anyways, they have this, they'll get stickers basically that indicate that they did the thing, that they went and they cast their ballot, basically. So we're looking for basically, yeah, like a 2-word answer here. 2 words that basically indicate that, you know, that would say that they went to the polls and they cast their ballot. So, so basically this tells people that they went to the polls and cast their ballot. So, I'll give you a hint as well too. So this first part is going to be a pronoun, right? Because we always need a subject with a verb, right? So this is going to be a pronoun. And then this one is going to be a verb. We can see that it's like conjugated in the past tense. So first word is going to be a pronoun. Second word, a verb conjugated in the past tense. Alright. Tricky. I mean, there's not too many pronouns that are gonna fit in here. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna say that this is an I. So I is gonna be our pronoun. I. And if you go and cast your ballot, you go and you select your candidate, you're gonna vote, right? So I voted is gonna be our answer. I voted. So I voted. Yeah. So you voted. Yeah, you went and you did the thing. Exactly. Alright. Okay. Alright. Do they, so do they give out stickers in your country when you vote? They do not here. We don't get stickers. It seems silly. But anyways. Yeah, apparently in the United States they get stickers. So, that's fun. What else do we have here? So a young one, planning time. I think we could do this one. So planning time. So something. Usually if you are planning an event, right? You do it maybe the day before or like leading up to that event, right? So if you are planning an event, you plan it on the days leading up to the event, okay? So that's kind of important, little detail. So basically, this word means like we use this word to describe the day before an important event. All right, so we use this word to describe the day before an important event. So, and we use it a lot to describe, or we use it a lot in the names of the days before important festivals or important holidays, I should say. So we use it a lot to describe, or it's used a lot in the names of the day before certain holidays. Yeah. So for example, this word is used on the day before New Year's Day, okay? Or this word is also used on the day before Christmas, for example. So, I have a three-letter word that we would use, basically to refer to the night before something happens. Yeah, this is going to be the eve, exactly. So the eve. So typically you might plan something on the eve. Exactly. So eve is going to be the day or the night before something. Yeah, so we have Christmas Eve, exactly. We have New Year's Eve, right? I'm sure there's other ones, but those are the most common classic ones that come to my mind. And then yeah, anything that happens on the eve of something else is basically like the day before. Yeah, all right. So that's going to be our planning. Our planning time. Let's see if we could do this one. Maybe. A gauge is, so we could use gauge as a verb, as in being able to determine how much there is of something. But here this is going to be a noun. We're using this as a noun. So basically a gauge is something that tells us information about something. Oh, I wonder if the... Okay, wait, there we go. Trying to get a quick little definition. Yeah, it's basically a little device. So a little device. A gauge is a little device that's used for measuring the amount of something or the size of something. So for example, you might have a gauge. You know, there's like a gauge in your... you might have a fuel gauge. You have a fuel gauge in your car. Tells you how much fuel you have left. So it basically measures how much fuel you have. Or there might be a temperature gauge. Tells you what the temperature is. Okay. So we're basically looking for another word, basically another type of device, similar device that you would use for measuring something. And it's very, very, very common to find this answer, like this thing, to measure electricity in a house. So one of these guys, for example, whatever this is called, something E, R, and then this is, yeah, so this is a meter, exactly. So meters is going to be our answer. It's just another word for a gauge, exactly. So this is like the electricity meter. Maybe there's a hydrometer. Here they call it electricity hydro in certain parts of the country. Yeah, a meter will give you a reading for something. So let's do that. What else do we have here? So right away, oh, I'm slow today. So this is this one. Okay, so right away. So right away. Immediately, right? So a 3-letter word. That means right away. Or immediately. So right away or immediately. What else do we have? It'll be harder to explain. But yeah, so something that would happen right now, exactly. Something that happens now is going to be right away, right? Exactly. So that's gonna be now. We got now. And I wonder, caprice. So caprice isn't super common word. But it kind of like means to sort of have a sudden impulse to do something. So basically means to have a sudden impulse to do something, or maybe a sudden desire to do something, or a sudden wish. And we don't really use this. We might say that somebody is capricious. That is definitely a more common use of the word. If someone capricious changes their mind or changes their moods. Yeah, exactly. Children in particular are usually really capricious, right? They kind of change their, you know, one day they like one thing, the next day they hate it. You know, they're kind of like that, right? So this word here kind of refers to, it's like another word for, you know, having a sudden desire. And we might say you would do something on a, whatever this word is. Like you just have like this sudden desire to do it. So that is whatever that word is. They wanted to have candy on a whim. Exactly. Like all of a sudden they wanted to do it. Exactly. Great job. Yeah. So we do something on a whim. Like we suddenly have that impulse. Kind of came out of nowhere. Yeah. So some people are like that. Yeah. Yeah, let me know. Do you tend to do things on a whim, or are you a planner? Because some people love that kind of thing. They're always like randomly doing things, and then other people really dislike that. So so let me know. What else can we do here? Hit the walls. This is a long one, but I think that we'll be able to get this one. So some sort of thing that we did to the walls. Some sort of wall treatment. Okay? So did the walls. Did the walls. So, a word. So this word is related to something. So, related to some sort of thing you'd do to decorate the walls, right? And obviously we can see here that we have a past, we have like the past form of a verb. I'm gonna put an ed in here just so this goes a little bit faster. But something we would do to the walls, maybe to change what they look like. Yeah, and this one might be a little bit tricky because I have a funny feeling the first thing that comes to your mind is not going to be the answer because it's not going to be quite long enough. But there are a few things that you might do to the walls, right? Especially if you're doing a renovation, right? So if you're renovating a house, if you renovate, that means that you are fixing it up, or maybe you are changing the colors or changing what it looks like. You might also redecorate, for example, so just change the decor of the house. There's a couple different things that we might do. You know, if you were like building the walls, so just to give us an answer, you might plaster the walls. Maybe plastered could be our answer. It's not our answer, but that's when they like do the finishing of the actual, like make it smooth and everything like that. So we're not going to detail the walls. You would detail a car though, where you would go in and you would maybe like clean it really well. If you get your car detailed, you would get all the upholstery fixed up and cleaned and get it really nice. So the inside of the car you would detail. Walls, maybe you would plaster them. You could also paint them. So paint was the first one that came to my mind. You would paint, but that's not long enough. Paint is not long enough. There is another thing that you would do. Trying to get a picture of this thing. This is kind of a more temporary way of changing the wall color, where you would basically put on sheets of whatever this stuff is. So this is another thing we might do to walls at a house. So whatever the heck this is, we would do this. I only did this once, and it was a really annoying, frustrating process. Actually, that's not true. I did it twice, I guess. Actually, I did a part to the wall behind me to change the color because I couldn't paint in here. So this thing here, yeah, you just like stick it on here. This is wallpaper. So this stuff is called wallpaper. So we call it wallpaper. And so you would say you paper a wall. You would paper a wall. So we were, or you could also wallpaper a wall. You could also say that. So we could say that as well too. So this person is putting up the paper. So I think our answer here is going to be papered. Papered the walls. All right. That's gonna be tricky, kind of. I think we could do this one. We should be able to do this one. The manual reader. What the heck is a manual? A manual is a book that basically tells you how to operate something. It like gives you, it's like the instruction manual, right? So the instruction manual, basically, right? Where you would read it for information to learn how to operate or how to use a product, basically, right? So this word, this person, something. This is basically a person who would use a manual, basically. So they're trying to make the thing work, basically. So the person who would use the manual. And there's actually kind of a bit of the answer in this definition, if that helps. And that would use the manual. Right? Because usually, like, if somebody wasn't going to essentially use a device, they wouldn't look at the manual, right? So yeah, so the user is going to use the manual. Exactly. So let's put that in here. The user gonna use the manual. They're gonna use it to find out information about how their product works. And that is 8. Let's see if we can get some of these longer ones. See here. Annoying. I wonder if we know this one. So a word for somebody who is annoying. Word for somebody who is annoying. So P-E, something. This is an adjective, obviously, right? Basically somebody who maybe was like really like picking at you or something like that. They maybe they're causing trouble as well too. So you're so close. So it's not gonna be peaky, but we have some right words in here. So we're close though. Almost close. Peaky. I don't know what peaky is. Is that a Netflix series? It is. Okay, yeah. So not peaky. Kind of close though. Peaky. So an annoying person here, this annoying person is gonna be pesky. We say somebody is pesky. So somebody who is, we might say that kids are pesky. You know, those pesky kids from next door. How about the air out of my tires again? So they're pesky, so they are bratty, they're causing a lot of trouble. Maybe they're really annoying. So pesky. Somebody who's pesky. Maybe something. Yeah. And we could use it as like a I would say we use it as a verb, but pesting is more common. Anyways, pesking is our word. Okay. Up here. I think we might know this one, possibly. I don't think it's super rare, so that's great. That means to monitor. Monitor. What the heck does it mean to monitor? To monitor something means to basically pay close attention to something and watch it, right? So if you monitor something, you're kind of making sure that it works and things like that. Paying attention. So if you are doing that, you're like watching it really kind of intentionally or intentively, making sure that it works. Maybe you're possibly almost responsible for it or something like that. Which is kind of what this word means. Basically to, we would use this word a lot at work, especially if you are, you know, maybe you're like working on a project or something. Yeah, so yeah, maybe, well, I wouldn't say that like operate means to monitor. Operate definitely means to run something. Here we're more like checking on things, making sure it functions. In a workplace setting, if you were a manager, for example, you would probably have different projects and things going on. Maybe you have different team members, right? And you would basically be responsible for the you'd be responsible for the project, right? So you would be checking in, making sure everything is happening the way it's supposed to be happening, right? So maybe like watch or organize the job, make certain that everything is happening the way it's supposed to be done, everything is done correctly. So we're looking for a verb. Yeah, we're still looking for a verb though. I'll give you a little bit of a hint. The first part of this is going to be over. So over something. Kind of basically means to manage or supervise almost. So overrule. So overrule is more like a word that we would use in like law. So the judge might overrule, like decide that what is overrule? Because the judge basically decides that, like, whether something is good or not, right? They basically have the authority to decide on certain things, right? So if you overrule something, you have authority to decide if something is good or not. So that's kind of what overrule means. Or you could change a decision because you have the authority to do it. So that's overrule. But here is more just sort of like over if you were just like managing something. So we might say that you oversee something. So for example, here is an example. So as marketing manager, her job is to oversee all the company's advertising. So it is her job to basically manage, make sure it's all working, it's all functioning. Or here's another example too here. So we just appointed a coordinator who will oversee the whole project. So they will manage the project. They will make sure that everything goes as planned. And they will be responsible for that. Okay. Ooh, I wonder if we can get this one. That'd be nice if we could get this one. Occupied yourself. What does it mean to occupy yourself? If you occupy yourself, you basically keep yourself busy, right? Right? So if people ask you, people might ask you how you occupy your time, and then you would say, talk about maybe your hobbies and things that you enjoy doing on your time or during your time, right? So this is going to be multiple word answer. Number 19 is easy. What is 19? Yeah, if you want to do 19, if you want to let me know what 19 is. I agree, it is easy. Yes, okay. So let me know. I'm going to type out this one. Let me get this one in here. Something HE something I-M-E. This is kind of a very common collocation related to how you spend your free, your time not working. I'll say that. Yes, this is sir, exactly. This is gonna be sir. Yeah, let's see if we can do this one. So if you occupy yourself, you keep yourself busy. So we know that this is past form of a verb, so this is also going to be the past. So I'm just going to put this in here. So something, new word, something, word. So it's basically, yeah, so basically kind of a very common collocation for just like, you know, dealing with free when you don't have to work, right? You occupy yourself when you have nothing going on. Yeah, exactly. You would pass the time, right? So passed the time. You kept yourself busy. Maybe you didn't have anything going on. So you just passed the time. So we would say you passed time doing something. Also to spend time, that's another very common collocation for how we talk about time. Spend time doing something, or you pass time doing something. We also waste time. I know sometimes people say lose time, but we typically say waste time. So when you spend time unproductively. But let's see if we get this one. We can get this one here. So a verb that means to fix something, and you might know this one too. This lively spirit, but this might be a little bit harder, a little less common word. We can see that there is an S here. But basically a word that means to fix something. So something E-N-D. E-N-D-S. This word often gets used when talking about clothing. It is in the third person. Yeah, exactly. So this is in the third person. So it's going to be like... So we really only have to figure out what the first letter is here. So it often gets used about talking about clothing. Also relationships. Yeah, it also gets used talking about relationships, kind of, often. Basically to, yeah, to fix something. And you're right, this one is going to be mends. You would mend an article of clothing. For example, you would like, here, could you mend this hole in my shirt? So you would fix the hole in my shirt. But like I said, we would also use this word commonly. We're talking about relationships. So the country's president is seeking to mend relations with the United States, or maybe if you were having relationship problems, you would go to a therapist to mend your relationship with your partner. So there's sort of other ways that we would use the word mend that are super common. And we're so close to being done. That's exciting. See if we can do this one, this eye hole. So I was gonna do this earlier, but I thought that it would be hard. But now we have a lot of information. So this is like an anatomy word almost. So P-U-P something. So it's anatomy. Basically the little hole in our eye that we use that lets light come through, lets us perceive, lets us see what's around us. the little hole in our eyes that lets light come through so we can see. And exactly, that's going to be the pupil. So let's put pupil in here. Okay. We got pupil. And let's do this cake unit. Cake unit. So anytime that they talk about a unit in this crossword, they mean a part of something, or like a segment of something. Obviously, i.e. something. Obviously, this word is not slice, right? So usually we would have a slice of cake, right? That might be a common unit of cake, right? Everybody gets a slice or a piece of cake, right? This war, I think, talking about more like when there are multiple. Yeah, it has to do with how the cake is made, right? Because there are some cakes where you just have one thing, right? But you also have where there are stacks, like it's stacked on top of one another, right? Or even like how the how it's made. Like here, for example. It's probably even more like this. I was describing the stacks, but that's a slightly different word. You can see here how this cake has multiple different parts to it. Yeah, exactly. This is a layer. A layer was a part, or basically a unit of a cake here. Yeah, so I think that's going to be a layer. And I was originally describing when it's stacked on top of one another, which you could also think as a layer as well. Like, so here, for example, we have this cake, and we have like multiple parts, right? So you could think of it being as like a layer, but usually we call these tiers. So this is a tier. So this is like a 3-tiered wedding cake. So that's how we would talk about that. So 3-tiered wedding cake. It's quite possible you'll cut into it and there are multiple layers inside, right? And then obviously everybody gets a slice of cake because that is how you eat cake. All right. And what else can we do here? It said it was floors. Okay, yeah, floors. Yeah, floors would be in a house. We would have floors, but I could see though. Yeah, this might be. We could think of this maybe being floors, but those are actually tiers. Exactly. All right, cool. We're so close. Do you know yoga? We're basically looking for like the yoga word for each of those poses, but this might be a harder one. Like, unless you know yoga, that might be tricky. So if you happen to know what this one is, let me know. Or actually, maybe we could get this one. So comic book workers. So people who work on comic books. So there are different people. Yeah, I think 9 would be easier for us to figure out. So there are different people who work on comic books. And there's one kind of, so you have the people who do the original drawing, like the layout and everything like that, right? Then that goes, somebody will go and they will basically trace, they will do the black lines. Somebody does the black lines. So there's the person who sketches it in pencil, right? there's the person who adds the black lines, right? And then maybe there's the person who adds the color. Okay? I think we're looking for this person. The person who would add the black lines. So, whatever the heck that is. So, here, for example, actually, I think this person is doing it with like a brush or something. I mean, you can see this person is adding the black, right? So, yeah, so this is it's a specific medium. We call like the different material like a medium, right? So paint is a medium, pencil is a medium, whatever this is. And yeah, this is ink, exactly. So this person is an inker. So let's put an inker in here. And we got it. So great. Great job. Really fantastic. Yeah, thanks so much for sticking it out. Really great job. Really appreciate your help. There were some tricky words in here today, but we got through it. I think that we learned some really interesting words. That was really fantastic. So yeah, so I hope that you've enjoyed this. I will be back tomorrow for another crossword. Tomorrow's Saturday. Yeah, tomorrow is Saturday. So I'm going to be back tomorrow for another crossword at the same time, 1300 UTC. So you're more than welcome to come and join me, help me for that. I'm also going to be back here on Sunday, but not doing a crossword. I'm actually going to be looking at the next article in my conversation class series. So if you don't know, I've been planning lots of conversation classes based on either articles or videos. Anyways, I'm going to be doing a live lesson where I go through the latest article. I'm going to read it, talk about the vocabulary, the phrases. You'll be able to hear the pronunciation of the words. I'll discuss any interesting grammar points, and hopefully that'll help you, give you a better idea to about the article, how to understand it. And then yeah, if you're interested in booking a conversation class about it, I am available, so you'll have information about that. I'm really glad that you had a whale of a time. That's really fantastic. Glad you enjoyed it. If you appreciate this too, be sure to give it a like and a thumbs up. Also too, feel free to share this video with any of your favorite Facebook groups for people learning English, right? So the more people I can get out, the better. I'm hoping that eventually, if I have enough people, I'll be able to do maybe some conversation like group classes would be really great, but also conversation practice on Discord as well too. So spread the word if you have enjoyed this activity and you thought it was useful. So anyways, all right. I hope you have a really great day then. I really appreciate your help. And too, I mean, if you have questions or anything too, I'm available to help. I think I have information at the bottom of the screen, how you can get in touch. Yeah, on Facebook. I'm available. Also on Telegram. That's probably the best way to get a hold of me. But yeah, if you have any questions or anything like that, or want to get chatting, available for process too. Okay, anyways, thanks so much. And I will see you all later. Okay, bye.